of painting. Currently 6 coats on the hull, and then I'll mask off the hull and do another 6 coats on the deck. So while that's all happening and waiting for things to dry, I thought I'd attack the sails. It's very difficult with this, trying to scale a model down. I've done some more work on Excel, looking at healing moments from wind forces on different areas and shaped sails, and writing moments. But the writing moment's easy to calculate for the bulb keel because it's a point mass sitting a certain distance away from the hull. But the hull itself is quite a weight, and that also has a writing moment. So I've decided to compromise on dimensions a bit. I've gone for the full width of the sail at 2/3 scale and reduced the height a little bit from 2/3 scale because I was ending up with, depending which of the 3 rigs that I have designs for, you know, it could be a metre high mast, which I decided was a little bit excessive, and until I get it in the water, likely to topple over, I think. So anyway, so I thought I'd show you my attempts to make a sail. I've done some experiments with the material. It's a very fine Amati modern sailcloth. Very nice, except it puckers very easily. So I've had to set the sewing machine to the lowest tension, and also by putting some tape along the hem where I'll be hemming, that tends to make it a little bit stronger. And also by putting some lateral 4.5 tension on the material as it sews, that seems to keep a straighter hem. They're hardly perfect, but I'm not a seamstress. Anyway, so to the sails. So what I've done is I've marked my sail out and printed it off. And what I have there is the general sail with a 15mm hem. Sounds quite large, but actually it's a rolled hem. So the material will be rolled underneath to hide the dirty edge. So it should end up with about a 7mm hem. There will be reinforced at each of the corners. In fact, I've included a piece of material at the masthead to provide some reinforcement. And I've then cut the material to size. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay, I looked at different methods of doing, but I decided that laying double-sided sellotape along the, just on the inside of the line where I actually want the sail size to end up, then rolling over the excess material should give me a reasonable straight line, and then running all 3 layers through the sewing machine, hopefully ending up with a reasonable hem. We shall see. Come back to you when we get the sewing machine all set up. Okay, so I've done a little bit of preparation. What we have is I put the double-sided tape actually on the very edge, on just this edge at the moment, and secured and folded over to make a double thickness all the way down, and then that's stiffened it up, so I should now be able to fold over that hem to make a rolled hem, if you like, and stitch it all up on the machine. And let's see if it manages to stay straight and true. Well, there's the 2 sails finished. They've each got a reinforcing double thickness piece of material in each of the corners. The jib has a wire running through
the whole length of it, which will act as the forestay. It wasn't that bad actually, and I found a very useful cheat. I'm sure a seamstress would be disgusted, but using double-sided tape anytime you need to hold something still and sewing through it is a wonderful little, as I say, cheat. Right, we'll be ready for rigging soon. Well, here we have the painted hull. I have to admit it's a pretty terrible paint job. I've never seemed to get as good a finish as I'd like. The paint shows every defect in finishing and sanding, and I've never been good at the pretty. But it'll have a very light 1200 grit sanding down before a couple of coats of varnish. But before then, I want to get on with the rigging. So what we have so far is we have epoxied in, we have the control for the rudder. That's also held by 2 pins down through the deck and epoxied. At the front here, we've got a little piece that I've made. What we have is 2 pieces of brass that I've silver soled together, and they are basically the anchors for the boom, which is also the anchor for the forestay. At the top of the mast, we have the fitting for the arse stay, which travels all the way down to a hook. This is just a temporary piece of string holding things in. The hooks for all the riggings are held in holes in the hull, but not just a hole. In each hole there is a 2mm diameter piece of brass, which I've drilled out to 1.2mm to take the bent 1mm wire hooks. And you can see that the shroud, port shroud, is temporarily fixed there. The starboard shroud, I thought I'd show you the fitting. So this is what we've got here. We've got a bent hook, then we've got a piece of wire which is covered with heat shrink, and that is underneath there, that is crimped on. Inside the brass hex is a small bit of crimp, and that's silver soldered onto the wire to hold the wire. So that will be positioned in the hole like so, and in the end there, attached to the shroud, will be another piece. I've made a couple, one for each side of the boat, if I can just find the piece in my pocket, and that has a fitting for the shroud. This will be threaded M4. Unfortunately, my die just can't manage to cut the thread on the brass, so I've got an adjustable die coming which will allow me to slowly work the thread depth, starting off quite shallow. The step for the mast has been epoxied in, so the next thing really is to start putting all the stays and shrouds on, and then adding the mainsail boom and the jib boom, and seeing how we get on from there. Well, here we are in rainy Bassingbourn with a completed, or very nearly completed, boat. The rigging's now been done, sails attached, so we have adjustments for both the jib and the mainsail tension to allow it to get the desired shape. Uphauls on both sails, and it all looks quite good. The rudder and the fin aren't attached at the moment because it's all going off for varnishing. final coat. So I'll be taking the sails off and making some larger sails, because I think these do look slightly undersized for the boat. We have floated it in the bath with the 500 gram bulb keel attached to the top of the boat, and the water line is as the paint line is. We might want to add another couple of 100 grams, which will raise the water line by 3 millimeters or so. But for the moment, she's looking quite good. When it's actually in the water with some wind, we'll know better. So time to dismantle the sails, sand everything down with 1200 grit, varnish everything, and reassemble and make 2 larger sails.